dare I say, I was quite looking forward to this event. Payday 3's first sort of attempt at a live service moment with 4 objectively cool mass designs to potentially unlock as a community. Mass Mania could have been a lot of fun and had some great rewards to boot, so why should we have worried about this not panning out as expected? Payday 2's been running successful seasonal events for quite a while now, with attainable rewards, community cooperation, and clean execution. There really was no reason to be concerned for Payday 3's first. Yet, in classic Payday 3 fashion, it's just not gone very well. Over halfway through the event, we're still a long way away from having unlocked any of the 4 masks for the community. Hardcore players are unbelievably burnt out on playing the same heist on loop, and one has to wonder, what was the plan? For those unaware this event was even going on, as there's absolutely no way to see in-game if you're not expressly plugged into the grid of poorly distributed Payday news, Mass Mania is a 5-day community event which adds nothing new to the game, but allows players hopping in and playing between Tuesday the 16th and Sunday the 21st to earn potentially 4 new masks and contribute to unlocking them for the entire community by completing one of the 8 base game heists. Fine, right? The masks are unlocked when we reach a certain community cash goal and will be automatically earned just for playing a heist during this period. Also, to reduce the FOMO of the event, they've already stated that if you missed out on playing this week, you'll still be able to earn them down the road by completing some currently unknown hardcore challenges. Well, I'm not sure it was fine, as in their infinite wisdom, the goal they set for this was $100 billion of stolen loot for each individual mask. This loot is attached to the completion of the heist each mask is designed in honour of, and one additional heist to try to avoid complete monotony. So for example, the mask I've been representing, Cut Ice, requires completions of Dirty Ice or Touch the Sky. When it comes to a number that big though, it's hard to really work out what exactly this entails from the community, so let me break it down for you. The greatest cash reward to heist clear time ratio is probably Touch the Sky Stealth. Originally, this wasn't the case, but thanks to this incredible strategy shared by Commander CH, which requires an ECM jammer with speed hack, rush, and to down yourself simultaneously to completely block security radios from activating. Yes, that is as complicated a setup as it sounds, and these guys are absolute legends for working this out and pulling it off consistently. With that in mind, you can clear this heist in stealth in around 4 minutes, earning $1,359,490. So if we assume you have a 4-player lobby, which will be required anyway to pull off this strategy in that sort of time, we think that quadruples the reward as far as the event is concerned. That means an optimized team can earn $5,437,960 in 4 minutes. That sounds bloody good, but just to put into perspective how big a number 100 billion is, it's still 18,389.25 times that 5.4 million figure. So yeah, one team would have to complete that strategy over 18,000 times, taking 4 minutes per attempt, assuming perfect play, and ignoring time in menus. That's 1,226 hours, so if we had 4,904 players just grinding this strategy without any mistakes, playing just the one heist, it should theoretically take an hour to complete. But in truth, we're so far away from these calculations in terms of community harmony and individual mass focus, hell, I don't even think this is scientifically possible as no team is that well drilled and there are menus to contend with between each heist. The point I'm trying to make is that this event was not well considered in terms of the actual figures going into it. We simply don't have the player base at the moment to pull this sort of thing off, and even if we did, does that sound like fun to you? Grinding the most optimized strategy over and over again just to unlock one of the 4 masks? Which brings me on to the even greater issues I have with this event. Beyond the miscalculations for how long it should take, it's simply not a very fun idea. Earning money to unlock stuff collectively for the community, cool. Doing so in a semi-competitive fashion, pitting some good-looking masks against each other, and trying to get the community to rally around completing their favourites first, also a great idea. Making the sole way of doing so, playing one of 2 heists over and over again, just an appalling approach. Let's be honest, in most cases, one of the 2 heists is vastly superior to the other. The best example of this is with Cut Ice, where as we know, Touch the Sky is comparatively very efficient, whereas Dirty Ice is just awful. Solo, you can complete it or loot on Overkill in about 3.5 minutes for just over $250,000. If we follow the same calculation logic, just grinding Dirty Ice would take a whopping 23,333 hours instead. So as awful as it sounds, if you've tried to support the Cut Ice mask by grinding out Dirty Ice, you've been effectively wasting your time, especially if you've been cleaning that jewelry. It's a serious flaw in the event, and that's not even getting into discrepancies between heist payout efficiencies amongst the competing mass. But again, if you look past the way the event has been conceptualized from a numerical standpoint, the truth of it is, it's just not a very fun concept. We already have an issue with heist replayability and RNG in Payday 3, having us bash our heads against the same two heists over and over again is only going to exacerbate that problem. I think what frustrates me the most is how obvious of a pitfall the design was, and how long they've had to come up with a solution to avoid it. As they said in the blog post, this event has been in the making for months, as early as January or February. It's been on the back burner whilst Operation Medic Bag attempted to fix the community's most pressing issues, but even so, when it was first pitched to partners, it was going to be based purely on heist completions, obviously giving shorter heists a massive advantage, and was only going to include the heists related to the individual mass. Obviously it has been slightly improved, but nowhere near enough, and it wasn't as if we didn't have alternative ideas, such as making it so earning cash from any heist counted towards all 4 progress bars, but doing the associated heist counted for double, or hell, just allowing the classic and DLC heist to count for all mass to allow for a little more earning variation. It struck me after watching Mariner Top Hat's stream, where he proceeded to just romp his way through the usual heist gauntlet, not repeating any, that the most enjoyable way to participate in this event is to not participate at all. Don't focus on the completion of one mask, just play what you fancy, even if that's Boys in Blue and you're not contributing whatsoever. And if things happen to unlock in the process, great. If they don't, whatever, they've modelled the bloody mass, it's not like they were about to let that work go to waste. It just frustrates me because it's yet another display of naivety from Starbreeze, that lack of self-awareness or understanding of the underlying numbers in their game that seems to keep tripping them up. They always seem to overestimate the player base they're going to conjure up, and they definitely overestimate how much people enjoy doing the same thing over and over again. It really is a microcosm for the story so far with Payday 3. It also feels a bit slapped together and rushed. Only Disco Molly has a special trait, that being its animated eyes, when surely the plan was to add something unique to all the mass in the same vein. And within minutes of the event being announced, people had obvious questions that the devs didn't necessarily have the answer to. What was going to happen to the broken solo mode? Would it count? And if so, would it count for double, as money is currently earned twice in that mode? It shows a lack of care and forethought, which is a disappointment. What about during maintenance? How would we be rewarded for time lost? I think a little bit more level-headed realism would be appreciated, especially by the community who are dedicating themselves to this game. It also doesn't help that the community feels like they've been messed around after the goal suddenly halved during what was meant to be a double earning period, only to return to 100 billion once more, completely failing to compensate for our progress during that time. It's just sloppy execution, and it really annoys me because it's such a wasted opportunity. July was always going to be a fallow month, with the vacation period meaning no sizable content drop, but if this event was well constructed, it could have kept the community engaged at a key moment without much active input from the devs. Instead, they're going to have to scramble to make something out of it at the 11th hour, assumedly leading to more stress. And just taking a step back to view the event in isolation, the rewards are solid, but the actual incentive to play is almost non-existent. Events in Payday 2 were bolstered by actual gameplay changing mechanics, or had a reward that was immediately unlockable over its duration, like the Golden Spoon. Here we're just playing the same game we were a week ago, for a reward that will be included in who knows what future patch. It's just such a tough sell, and I think the community, myself included, are all just kidding ourselves into trying to enjoy it because there is at least some novelty to it. We're so starved of unique things to do, somehow completing Touch the Sky 20 times in one stream felt like a fresh experience. Anyway, the point is, I'm not making this video just to laugh at the event as it languishes. I'm making it because I'd like future events to take place. After all, I believe the community is highly receptive to them. But I want them to function far better than this one has. The long and short of it is, rewards have to be attainable given the current level of community participation. It's better to have stretch goals in place if they're completed too quickly than to be left with the embarrassment of not ever reaching them. Events have to be innately fun regardless of the reward. They shouldn't be about collective suffering for a period, they should bring out the best in the game and if possible, add a new dimension to the gameplay. And finally, rewards have to be worth striving for, but also rewarded upon completion to fulfill that positive feedback loop that participating in the event was worth it. As for Mania, I haven't given up on it and will be streaming the Cut Eyes Carlton grind this weekend. Starbreeze are aware we're struggling at the moment, so they might extend, they might double our reward game properly next time, hell they might even just fudge the numbers behind the scenes to make sure we unlock something. Of course, none of these approaches inspire confidence, and they all point to a number of larger concerns with how the game is being run, but I'm not writing them off just yet. Thanks for watching. Remember to check out Apex Gaming PCs, my long-term channel sponsor, from the link in the description, and hopefully you can look forward to a few new videos I'm planning to release in July, with some pretty large projects nearing completion. Take care, I'll see you this weekend. A huge thank you to my dedicated Patreon backers. If you want to join this crew in going infamous, check out the link below and pledge as little as $2 to see your name in the credits, or get 24-hour early access to future videos and vote on upcoming content. Take care, I'll see you all soon.